Hi, Jordan.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Not bad, thank you. Not bad at all. Looks very
You're-
daytime where you are.
Yeah, it's morning right now, so I'm a little tired, but it's all good. It's all good. And what is it? Is it close to being nighttime over there?
It is. It's 6 p.m. here, but it gets dark at like 4 p.m. or something ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Where are you in? Where are you at? In London or?
yeah, London. Yeah,
Okay.
it's fun. It's like 28 days later. It's very isolated and desolate right now.
Yeah.
Where are
Yeah.
you?
I'm in Santa Cruz, California.
Oh,
So I'm
nice.
like, do you know where San Francisco is?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm about an hour away from San Francisco.
Okay, not too bad.
Yeah.
How's the weather there? Is it
It's
sunny?
all well right now. It's cloudy, but like it's middle of winter and we have beach weather, and so
I'm I'm not
you
jealous
can't
at all.
you can't
Yeah.
complain at all. Yeah, yeah. So
That
I heard it's like really snowy over there, right?
yeah, I mean, I guess where I am in London, it kind of, it doesn't really settle. It snows and yeah, it's a bit pathetic to be
Yeah,
honest, the snow that we get. But hey, I can't complain. So
yeah. No, I loved. I was only there for 2 days, and
yeah.
for the I went to one film festival in London, and that was those 2 days couldn't get enough of that. So I want to go back really badly to, but that won't happen until COVID is done. So
Yeah, we've got a sadly we have a little bit of time to wait, don't we? But
yeah.
hopefully, I'm hoping that maybe in 2022
Mhm.
we might all be allowed to, be free once more. But
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. Yeah,
well,
yeah.
thank you so much for taking some time to talk to me about SATOR. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's been the first film I've seen in a very long time where I genuinely watched a lot of it through my fingers.
Okay.
So, that's a true testament to the film because it takes a lot to be scared.
Yeah.
But
That's
how
cool. I'm glad.
how did you first come up with the concept for the film?
Um, well, my original concept, I don't even really remember my original one, but
Yeah.
the um, as I was making the film, uh, I used my grandmother's house. So that's my grandmother in there. As
Oh,
I was, so wait, are you transcribing this, or is this going to be a video for people?
I am gonna transcribe it, but if you're happy for me to also use
Oh,
the
whatever you like. Yeah, depends if I like mess up or whatever. But anyways, yeah. So, but uh, so my grandmother wasn't supposed to be a part of this film, and like I said, that is my grandmother. And since I was like on a budget restraint, uh, I couldn't find anything as cool looking as that cabin. I built that cabin myself as well,
wow.
and so I used my so when I decided to use my grandmother's house as a location, I thought it'd be kind of cool to use her as like a quick cameo. So we did an improvisational scene with her,
Yeah.
and if I liked it, then maybe I would put her in for like one scene of the movie. If not, then oh well. But then she started talking about the automatic writings and the voices in her head, which I was not expecting her to be talking about, and that changed the whole movie for me. Basically, I went. That's when I started going and doing research of my family's past and trying to figure out what these automatic writings were, and I asked my family if there were any automatic writings any more of her. So like if you don't know what automatic writings are, my grandmother would just in 1968 she would sit with a pad of paper and a pen and
Yeah.
just let SATOR write through her, and she would do that like all night. I can get into her past a little bit in a little bit, but uh, So I asked if there were any of those writings left, and they said no, that she burnt them all. And so I was like, okay, whatever, like fine, that's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
just I have something really unique here, so I'm going to try to figure out how to make this work for the film with what I have, and have my grandmother speak about it more. So then I went back and got her. I had her speak more improvisational stuff. But every time we talk, I would have to take a week-long break and rewrite, because a lot of what she was saying, I had no idea how I'd even make it work in
Yeah.
the film, in the story I was trying to tell. So I'd have to go back, rewrite, go back and shoot with her some more, then take another week break and rewrite.
Yeah.
And then when I got into post production, dementia. I'm sorry, dementia got really bad for my grandmother, and we had to put her in a care home.
Yeah.
And then I was cleaning out. We were clearing out that house, and in her closet, I ended up finding two boxes. One was all those automatic writings that you see in the film. It was like a box about this big of them, and then a journal, 1,000-page journal documenting every single day that she spent with him. And it was only like mainly 3 months. It was in 1968. She brought home a Ouija board, summoned him up. He taught her how to speak with her through automatic writings. And then her obsession with him led her into a psychiatric hospital after 3 months of meeting him. And then and reading this, I was like, I want to now I need to figure out how to put SATOR into the movie, and I'm already in post production. So then it was kind of like a race against time to get my grandmother to talk about him.
Mhm.
And before dementia took over, and then the very last day that that I spoke with her, SATOR was almost like completely gone from her mind. And so that was the inspiration, I guess. Long answer, I'm sorry, but yeah.
No, I mean, that's absolutely incredible. I mean, I knew that the film had, from what I'd read and heard, I knew that there was some, personal experience, but I didn't realize quite how in depth it was. And obviously
Yeah.
now it makes the whole thing, I mean, I guess a lot more personal, and also a lot, I mean, for
Yeah.
me at least quite scary as well, considering that.
Oh yeah, completely believed in him. Like he was to her a guardian, and like she loved him. I made him more sinister in the
Yeah,
film. My family gets in debates about it. So like my my mom thinks SATOR was a loving entity. My aunt thinks he was like Satan. And
yeah,
so we don't really we don't usually talk about it very much, because they'll get into fights of the meaning of it. Because my family was during this time, my mom was like 12 or something along those lines. So yeah, but yeah, I try putting as much personal stuff in this as I possibly can. Like you hear a song playing in the background,
yeah.
a little classical song playing in the background, and that's the actual song that my grandmother listened to over and over and over again when she was doing the automatic writing. So that's something you wouldn't know unless I told you.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's just like I was always trying to find little personal touches that I can put in there, like you hear the tapes in there where it's Bible verses that I transcribe, or like I take different parts of the Bible and put them together to make um, to make it work to the story that I'm trying to tell, and make it sinister and whatnot. But the reason why I did that, I didn't just do that because thought it was cool. I did it because my family believes that my grandmother was trying to rewrite the Bible during that time, and reading her journals. My grandmother, she tried rewriting the book of Revelations because uh, I guess it's too difficult for children to read. So she wanted to make it easy for kids to read. I'm not a religious person at all. So, and I never read it. So I don't know, but but that was just another personal touch that I added to the film. Again, you wouldn't know unless I said something,
Of
but
course.
that makes, I feel like if people are interested in learning about me doing it myself and my personal family, then they can go and find things on the internet like this and learn about it. But
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
I mean, that's absolutely fascinating. And I think, I guess it almost adds an entire another level to the film, that like you said,
Mhm.
there's so much complexity in the film already. And now that this is added to it, I think
Yeah.
it's it's absolutely incredible. Most films, they don't have this background. And you mentioned there that your mum and your aunt have got different ideas about
Mhm.
Sator.
Yeah.
How did they feel like when you made this film? Because obviously I guess it's part fact, part fiction in a way,
Yeah.
right?
Um, my mom is just super proud. I mean, my mom's been supporting me on my film endeavors for years. So she's just uh, um, very happy that I'm finished this film and it's starting to. Uh, as far as like, she's just more worried about me painting her mom in a bad light, which the movie already does. Kind of like it's makes my grandmother creepy. Like my mom is fine with the film, but then when I go and say certain like talking to you and I say certain things,
Mhm.
I don't let my mom read these videos or tell her what I'm saying. I just want to say things, and that happened. And my grandmother, with these journals, my grandmother wanted these things to be said. Like reading her journal, she wanted to publish it as a story,
Yeah,
and she actually at the end of her journals, she because it's written like a story. It's not written like a normal journal, I would
yeah,
imagine. And then she at the end of that journal, she went and took it to L.A. because she wrote this in Tucson, Arizona. So she took this it to LA to try finding somebody to publish it. And then that's where she got in a lot of, like, she ended up telling family members that we had out there that her family was killed by a car wreck. And that's when, and she left my family
yeah,
uh, and ended up having to, they ended up having to come to LA and go find her and then take her back and put her into a psychiatric hospital. Um, but where was I going out with that? Um, yeah, I don't even know where I was going with that.
No, it's
Uh,
yeah, I mean, I'm honestly, now I feel like all my questions, I'm like, they're kind of lame in comparison to, how, I mean, I loved the film. I just want to put it out there. Like, I
thank,
absolutely adored the
thank
film. I
you.
thought it
It's,
was
it's
it's phenomenal. It's a really phenomenal film. And I had it on my list since it played at I believe it was Fright Fest. A couple of, was it Fright Fest?
no,
No,
it played at Fantasia, and then it played at like in London. It played at the Soho Fest.
that
Then
was
played at
it. So
in the UK. It played there, and then the Abattoir in Aberystwyth. Um, but
yeah, it was the Soho Festival, actually, sorry, that a friend of mine saw it, and they've been saying to
okay,
me, you're gonna love this film. And so yeah,
cool.
as soon as I put it on, I show my partner, and he as well, he was like, wow, he was like, this is something. And I think what's even more impressive is the fact that you spent, it was a good 6 years, right, making
7 years,
the film.
7 years.
7.
Yeah,
Wow.
7. Too long.
how
I
did
know.
you how did you find the patience to continue working on the project?
It was a one step at a time. Sorry, my kitty is
Oh,
just
hi. Mine are
uh
usually as well, but they're off.
it was a one step at so I mean I did everything behind the camera myself, if you didn't know that, and I built the cabin, but like it was during the cabin that I almost got into a panic because it
Mhm.
took a while to just do the very first thing, which was like laying the foundation. And I was it like having some anxiety of just like all the jobs I'm going to have to do in the future. And the, that's when I was like, okay, I'm just going to take one step at a time. Don't think about all the things I have to do.
Yep.
Just we're gonna start with the cabin, get that done. Then we'll move on to, I guess, would have been shooting at that point, and just one step at a time during shooting. And and like I'm so used to doing stuff by myself anyways. Like I'm 21 years now at this. I was so and at that point was 14, of just not having much help at all. So like I'm already kind of like used to doing it that way. I'm never going to do it again. This was, I just like I was like, I'm going to do this once where I'm going to give everything to this project, and let's hope that people, like doors will open, and that I can get help made on other projects. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully after this one, which I'm sure it will happen, but hopefully the next time you can relax back, sit back a bit,
Yes.
let everyone else kind of do the hard work.
Yeah, to a degree. Like I don't want to be like, I don't want to be doing sound again, but I want to be there with them and be able to, because now that I have knowledge in every little bit of this, of every job, that I think I could be really helpful at getting people to get the job done quicker, because
Yeah.
I would know what I would want. And so yeah, because I love being hands-on and involved. But I want to move faster. Like the audio, everything that you hear in the film, I did in a post-production, except for my grandmother speaking. So every little piece of cloth and every little breath and every little sound that you hear, I had to do later on. That took, just that process alone, just recording it, took me a year and 4 months to do. So it's just like, it's a long time. Yeah.
It's a crazy long time.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously sound wasn't, but what would you say out of, because like you said, I know that you pretty much did, nearly everything, minus kind of acting in the film.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part of that entire process?
I love I like shooting, like the production side, like just, or yeah, being out there and working with the actors. That's always been my favorite part. And I do like cinematography. I don't consider myself a cinematographer though. I would like to have somebody that knows everything about cinematography to get the look I want. But I love being hands-on with the camera. I like looking into the viewfinder. I like setting up my shots, and I love working with the actors. So that's definitely my part. And I actually really like editing as well. Cutting the picture together is, I love that aspect. But that, like, after it's done, cut together, then when it comes to special effects and coloring and audio and all the other little things, that I don't really want to do again. But one job would be direct, two jobs directing and editing. Well, no one's going to be taking editing away. On my own projects, my personal projects, I will always be directing and editing. So.
Okay. I'm sure that everyone that's seen the film will be very happy to hear that you're still going to be directing the film, because I think it definitely comes through that you've got a talent for it. And there's one thing I do have to ask you about. I mean, I've got so many things to ask, but one of the things that I really loved in the film is the costume design. And funnily enough, when I go in my living room, I have a big chair, and I also, behind that chair, I have a big buffalo skull, which
Oh,
I
cool.
filmed in the mornings when it was dark. I was like, this is horrific to see this right now.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
did you come up with that costume design? Because it's very elaborate.
Well, the inspiration for it was, like since the forest is very, very quiet. You don't hear any animals except for the crows. My inspiration was that I wanted whatever this thing is, whatever this entity is, because I didn't want to actually show what was underneath it. They're just wearing the forest. That would be like the most organic way I would think of having like a costume, and not have like a rubber mask or something like that. So, but then I go on like Etsy, and I ordered so many different dead things. Like there's like 60 different things. I mean, I had like raccoon jaws and a beaver that I put on the hand. Each finger had a mouse. There was like a boar skin. Each arm had like 3 coyotes on it, and then there was like a fox and a skunk, and yeah, so there's just a bunch of different animals and possums. uh, and I how I put it together is with the deer skull. I had a Dremel tool, a Dremel saw, and I had to saw or hollow it out inside, and then I would put a sock. I'd fold up a sock in there, and so it would sit on the actor's face, but it was still really, really heavy, and it could fall to the side really quickly, so they couldn't move. And then I just like the everything else, I bought like a rope and then just tied it together because I wanted it to seem like it was made from the actual forest. So yeah, it was made out of just rope that I put everything together. And
Wow,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
amazing.
So I built one. I only built one. I could only afford one, and then
Oh, goodness, sounds expensive.
yeah. No, one costume was like 1,000 US, and then I so yeah, I could only afford one of those, but then I would have to do like some weird, like some camera trickery or some editing to make it look like multiple, and rearrange them, and then for like the satyr costume at the end of the film. I mean, that was the ram skull, and then he had the necklace, and then the same costume, but maybe I rearranged some things on there. So, um, yeah,
Wow. Yeah, it's an awesome costume, and I was like, so I think I might have found my Halloween costume.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I
It's
want
smelly though. It's not the, yeah, it's not the nicest smelling thing, and it's definitely pretty heavy too. It's heavy and hot, and because I didn't wear it for the film, but I definitely put it on to just make sure people can actually fit in it. So yeah.
yeah, it's an awesome costume.
Okay.
And so in the film, obviously there's a lot of kind of different elements, and one of the things I really liked was that I think it leaves a lot of openness to interpretation around what
Yeah.
Sator
Yeah.
is. I had my own personal theories, and after the film, me and my partner were kind of like, oh, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. Um, and now that you've obviously mentioned that, all of this came from your grandma, do you have any kind of personal theories on what you actually think Sator is, or what you want people to believe it to be?
No, I don't want anybody like I that's like the whole idea why I didn't show what it was underneath,
Yeah,
because people can even think if it's a spirit or if it's a person or if it's some other entity. I think it's a product of mental health mainly,
yeah,
and especially in real life. Like, I don't think there is an actual satyr. I think that was something my grandmother conjured up in her head, um,
yeah.
and but uh, yeah, again, you can interpret it how you want. So
Yeah,
that was definitely like, I don't have that answer for you. I have the real answer. I mean, like the real truth. I mean, like the real life answer. But as far as where the movie goes, I did that definitely intentionally to give it to her. Like, I don't maybe even know the answer, except I'm leaning towards mental health more than anything. So
yeah, no, I think, I guess you can kind of go either two ways with it, can't you? There's for me, I had a few theories about kind of, creators and otherworldly aspects. But yeah, I guess at the core of the film, it does talk about mental health, and perhaps the inner critics, the inner voices we have. And I think that's presented in a really well done way on screen, and a really respectful way, which of course would come across because it's a personal film
yeah,
for you as well. And I think another thing that was really quite strong for me throughout the film that I mentioned a little bit before is, it is really frightening, but not in your typical, it's not a jump scare film where every 2 seconds you've got someone jumping
yeah.
out. I think it builds up, and it builds up gradually, which for me was, yeah, terrifying. Did you take inspiration from any other films?
Yeah, as far as what you're talking about with, I mean, I had so many inspirations of other films throughout this whole film, but as far as what you're talking about with the quiet kind of build up, No Country for Old Men, that was a major one as far as sound goes, and
Yeah.
because like that was one of the scariest theater experiences I've ever had, because you don't there's no music really in that film, and it's so quiet, and you don't know when something is going to get you, like as far as like a pop out or something like that, and there's like a drug deal in that scene, and or an aftermath of a drug deal, and the character goes, and he's walking through it, and then he opens up a door, and just that him opening up the door made me jump, and because it was just like a loud sound, but it wasn't trying to be scary. It
Yeah.
just because like maybe I left my guard down because I don't know if it's supposed to be or not. And that's kind of, I went into the film SATOR, like with all the changes that I made with SATOR, that was definitely the one that was, that stayed the same from the very beginning, was that I was going to make this very quiet film that's kind of trance-like, and put you in kind of like this dreamy mood, but make it really quiet to where you don't know if you're supposed to be scared or not,
Yeah.
with just audio. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, there's like I said, the atmosphere is, I think, what you've achieved with the atmosphere. I don't think it's easy to do, to, keep it quite subtle, but also, I mean, the whole way through, I was like, no, something's horrible's gonna happen. Which, it absolutely, it kind of does, it kind of doesn't. I don't want to give too
Yeah.
much away because, I want
I
people.
actually think it's a happy ending. Like,
I do too, I do.
yeah, like a character gets rid of the people that abandoned him and is with his family. Like that's kind of
It's quite
at
a
the end, like that.
well, it's
That's
quite
kind of a,
it's a very moving film, actually. There are
thank
a lot
you.
of elements to it that the character development, all of the relationships, they're very real, they're very personal, they're very intricate, and I can definitely tell that, that obviously is because it is such a personal film to you. And I've one kind of final question to you, and I mean, I've already been shouting about how much I love this film, but I will continue to do so. What would you say is the reason that people should watch this film? Why do you think it's, worth a watch?
I feel like if they want to watch something that is pretty unique and done in a unique way, I feel like just like the film you would enjoy a lot more if you know my story,
Yeah,
the history behind it, and knowing that it is a do-it-yourself project and not a Hollywood film. I think like I made the film kind of for filmmakers. It was kind of like also like a calling card, because I've been trying really hard to get myself out there in the industry. And so if you like film, I mean like indie films and like things that are a little bit different, and don't mind allowing yourself to just not try focusing so much on the plot, but focus on like your mood and the mood of the film, and just allow yourself to feel weird or out of like strange, then I think you could enjoy it. So I
yeah,
guess that's my answer for that. So
yeah. I think there's absolutely, I think it's kind of, I would say it's, a great example for other filmmakers in the fact that, not only can you do it alone, it might take 7 years, but you can do it alone. But, also like,
I don't recommend people doing it alone anymore. Like that again, that was way maybe like at the beginning of like your filmmaking career, but now that I'm like, I have a certain like standard of things I want to look like, and with that, it just starts taking more. I need more people to get that, and so me doing it on my own and wanting things to look a certain way, that's what ended up taking 7 years. And then you were saying, oh, you were saying something I wanted to touch on. I don't remember. Oh yeah. So also the other part of this is I was trying to show that you can, to other filmmakers, that you can make a film of quality without all the bells and whistles, because that was a huge aspect for me. And at the of doing this all on my own, a huge thing that happened was trying to get financing for the film, and it didn't pan out. And I had filmmakers in my area say that they want to give me advice on how to move forward with this film, and I was all for it. Like, I wanted the advice, but their advice was talking down to me, and they would tell me that, like, you can't make a film of quality unless you have this, this, and this. And it's like, yes, I would love that. That would be great, but I don't have the means of getting this. And you're saying I'm not good enough to do it. Basically, that's what I'm kind of getting at with this. And so then from that moment on, I was like, okay, well, if I ever get a chance to make this film, I'm going to do it myself. And I'm going to hopefully prove to you and to other filmmakers that you can make a film of that's of quality without all the crazy stuff, or all the things that cost millions of dollars or whatever. So
Wow, and now you can distribute it around and go, here you go. I proved you wrong.
hopefully, I mean, like, it's nice to hear things from like you, that people like it. I never know. I try not reading reviews or anything like that. So I always get in my head about it, and now that it's finished, I'm very proud of it. And it wouldn't be, if I made it a month later, it would have been a completely different film. Like, everything just kind of aligned at the right moments, like with my grandmother and everything. But as a film as a whole, like, just if I'm watching a film as a film, I know I can do a lot better. And so now and that's good as a filmmaker. Like,
Yeah.
if I was just like, this is the best I can do, then I should be done. But now I know I can improve. I know I can do better. And so, yeah, that's it's nice to hear that people enjoy it, because I don't know if they will or not. So
no, I from what I've seen in the horror community, like, it's already making great waves. And if this is your starting point where you go, I can do better than this, then I think we're all going to be in for some horrific treats from you. And I'm certainly very excited to see what else you have.
I have some really cool stories that I mean, screenplays that I've written that, I mean, they're just way too big. I mean, they're still small, but they're way too big for me to do on my own. And so, yeah, I feel like this process with SATOR, where I grown the most was storytelling. SATOR, like, just throughout this process, like, I feel like after now, I feel like I'm a lot better storyteller. And so compared to where I was at the beginning of SATOR. So I'm excited to show a film, or to make a film that is a little bit more accessible, because SATOR is definitely, it's very artsy, and it's very kind of like quiet, and it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm still like, films in the future, it's still gonna be atmospheric. It's still gonna be beautiful. It's still gonna have kind of like a same kind of feel to a sense, but it's gonna be a lot more accessible to people. And I'm excited to make films like that. But we'll see. I have no idea if that'll happen. Doors have started to open, which is nice. So, but I'm cautiously optimistic always. So I never like, yeah.
I always say set low expectations and everything.
Oh yeah. All the time. Oh, yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah. I've learned very early on, don't expect a whole lot. So everything else is just kind of like a bonus. So
it's the way forward,
yeah.
It's positive in its negativeness. Well, thank you so much for talking to me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. And I will, like I said, I'll keep championing the film. And now that I know those extra bits as well, it's safe to say I'm going to have nightmares tonight.
Yeah,
so thank you for
good.
that.
I'm sorry, but good.
It was the goal. I like it. I will let you enjoy the rest of your day. I hope it's productive, and also a nice day. Enjoy the beach and the nice weather.
Well, enjoy the shitty weather.
I
Yeah.
will, you know, I'll enjoy the cold. Thank you.
All right. I'll
Thanks,
talk to you later. Nice
Gordon.
to meet you.
You
Okay.
too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.